I appreciate it. Today I'm going to talk about cities because they're pretty important. In fact, cities influence us in so many ways that we don't even know about, and yet they are the most important parts of our lives. Cities find their origins back in 2500 BC in the Indus Valley, which is presently Calcutta, India today. But what's important is the way we used to design cities. We used to design cities like ancient Rome. You see behind me Circus Maximus. And we used to design them for people. We used to design them with the streets, with the buildings up to the edge. We used to design them on a grid network of streets. But today, we design them for one and one thing only, and that's the automobile. Today, when we design cities for the automobile, we leave one person behind, and that's the human being. Unfortunately, as we do that, we create places that are not very attractive or not worth caring about. And certainly, as we move forward, cities are going to be an important part of how we look at ourselves, as how we look at ourselves as a society, our footprint on the planet, and certainly the type of buildings and spaces that we create. Now I challenge you each to think about cities not just in the way of buildings, but in the way of the places and spaces that we create, because they are so important. It goes beyond just the architecture. In fact, lots of neighborhoods now end up with their public space with the picture behind me. And you only have to go out to Fanshawe and Hyde Park to see those elements. But certainly we can do better, and we should do better, because it's important. Because this is how the rest of the world perceives us. And what we're really good at as a society, what we're extremely good at as a society, is to go off on vacation to those wonderful, wonderful urban places, and then we take what we have and we bring it back and we put it into suburbia. And we create the patio in the parking lot. Create those urban chic experiences, sipping the latte next to that beautifully striped parking space. And we can do better. And we come back and we go into our homes where you don't even have to interact with human beings. You can go from your work to your house and back to work without saying hi to anybody. And we can do better. And some of the things that we're thinking about here at the city, we're trying to create a distinct city. Some of the key messages. This is not Europe, this is Washington, D.C., and this was developed only 5 years ago. We can create these dynamic places that really bring people together. We're looking at building a compact city, trying to create those dynamic spaces back to the grid network of streets, back to people living in different types of housing forms, from single family all the way up to high-rise, in the same neighborhood. We're looking at how we can create a greener city, a more sustainable city, how we can take our green buildings, how we can take our green places and make them fun and attractive for everybody. And certainly we can do better. This is Quebec City, and it's a parking garage, obviously not. But certainly as we move forward, the other thing we want to do is create healthy communities where people are not just walking their dog, but they're walking to work, or they're walking to public transit, or they're walking to get their groceries. Those are the things that we are walking to do a presentation tonight. But the other thing we need to do is create a connected city. Public transit is the most efficient way to move people, is the most efficient way to develop a city. And we need to put the emphasis back on public transit because it's such a key component to delivering a strong and viable city. Of course, we also want to be a resourceful city, an integrated city, efficient city. We want to talk about how we can bring all our pieces together to create that dynamic place that people want to be in. Because at the end of the day, cities are just one thing. They're the intensification of people. It's those dynamic places that we create by putting people in one place. And that's the exciting part. We can create these things. We can do this in London. We should be doing this in London because other places are doing this. And other places like Kitchener-Waterloo and Ottawa and Quebec City. These are not cities that are huge like New York. These are cities our size. And certainly, some of the tenets of urban design that we want to place importance on is architecture. I say to you, the Colosseum and the Empire State Building. I don't have to tell you what cities those are in. You know exactly where they are because architecture is the brand. On top of which, public transit is the brand. The three recognizable of the top 10 most recognizable symbols in the world are the Paris Metro, the New York City subway, and the most recognizable symbol in the world is the London Underground, or the Tube. These are the parts. These are the reputations that cities are built on. These are the things people take home from where they come from. The public realms, the other important piece, this used to be a surface parking lot in Quebec City, but today it's an important piece of that city. If we're going to be an economically competitive city, if we're going to compete with all those other places our size or bigger, we need to invest in public transit and we need to invest in the public realm. Those are what bring people to cities. The jobs will follow should you do that. London has heaps of potential. It can do really well, but we need to invest in the right places and we need to make a better city by working together. Thank you.